Hi, welcome back to the Distressed Princess. I'm Rhonda and here are the DIYs I'm working on today. And my little yachty was ready to get started. In the first DIY, you'll need this plank from the Dollar Tree. And you will need this gather sign. It's metal and it came from the Dollar Tree. And you will need a bunch of whatever colors of fall florals that you like, but I got this orange and this blue from the Dollar Tree. And you will need some burlap. First things first, I painted the board with one really thin coat of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen white, and I did both sides. By doing just one thin coat, you let some of that wood grain show through, which makes it look way more rustic and cute. Then attach the metal sign to the plank with whatever glue you know to work with metal and wood. Just regular hot glue won't do it, so you're going to need something a little more heavy duty. So I'm using super glue fix-all adhesive that's from the Dollar Tree. It works a lot like E6000. You won't have the immediate hold, so it will take a little bit of wait time. And I actually put a heavy book on top just to weigh it down and maybe speed up that wait time. Now get ready to arrange your flowers. So remove the tags, and I like to cut each stem off individually. That way when I'm arranging them, they go exactly where I want them to go. And I know it seems like something just to throw away, but save those stems because you'll need them later. Next, take some jute string and wrap it around the board about 3 times and tie a knot. Then you can place each individual leaf into the jute string to hold it down and place them wherever you want them to go. I was trying to alternate the colors so I could get a nice variety in the arrangement. Then use your burlap to wrap around the board, and this will cover up the stems. I wrapped mine twice so that they didn't show through. And hot glue the end of the burlap in the back. And then do any fluffing or final touches to your arrangement and you're done. The next DIY is the easiest NoSew Pumpkin I have ever tried. It's using this fluffy white pillow from the Dollar Tree and navy blue yarn from the Dollar Tree. You probably won't believe how easy it is to turn this square pillow into a round pumpkin. All you do is poke in the corners to the inside and fluff it up a little bit. Lay a long piece of your yarn out and put the pillow in the center. Then you'll want to pull the ends of the yarn up around where the corners used to be. And then you will tie a knot and secure it down tightly. Then wrap back around to the bottom side of the pillow and tie another knot and pull it down tightly. Then wrap around one more time, dividing one of the sections that you made. Tie another knot and secure it tightly. And then one more time, completing all the ridges that you'll need to make this look like a pumpkin. Cut off the excess yarn and then do a double knot to keep it all held tightly in place. Now, remember those stems that I told you not to throw away? Here's how we're going to use them. I'm going to cut them down to the size that I want them to be, and I'm going to hot glue them to the center of the pumpkin. Then use some jute string to hot glue and wrap around both of the stems to look like one chunky pumpkin stem. When you get to the top of the stem, carefully put some hot glue and lay one last piece of jute string across the top and cut off the tail. You could leave your pumpkin like this, but I decided to add some of those blue leaves from the Dollar Tree to make it match all my other DIYs today. I cut 2 of them from the stem and I hot glued them to the stem of the pumpkin. And to be honest with you, I chose navy blue yarn because I really thought that it would show, but that pillow is so fluffy that it really doesn't show. So use whatever kind of yarn you like. And in this DIY, I'm using another one of those white fluffy pillows from the Dollar Tree. And I forgot to mention or show it in the last DIY, but these pillows have some really long tags attached to them, so you'll need to cut those off for both projects. You will also need some white material, and I'm using flour sack towels that I got at a Rural King, which is a store that we have where I live. I know that the Dollar Tree sells flour sack towels, and the Dollar General does too. And you will need this printout, which I will link in the description box. You'll need to print it out on sublimation paper, and you will need some heat-resistant tape. If you're new to sublimation, I will leave a card above that links to my tutorial on how to set up a sublimation printer. And this is the paper that I'm using. I will link in my description box if it is in stock on Amazon. If it's not, I will find another brand to link in my description box. The first thing I did was measure my pillow to see how big an image I wanted to put on it. So what we're trying to accomplish here is we're going to put an image on the white material, and then the white material is going to go on the pillow. So I thought about 6 inches each way would be a good size image. So that's what size I made my image when I printed it. And it's also very important that you mirror your image when you're printing. Then I measured out the 6 inches on the white material, and I did not include the hem for this because I want my edges to be frayed. So actually, instead of 6 inches, I'm actually going to mark off 7 inches. I allowed an extra inch to fray around my edges. And then I cut off the hemmed edges. Then cut out your image and leave some room around the edges so that you can use some heat-resistant tape. Here I'm just checking to make sure that my sizing is all correct. You'll need to check the instructions on your sublimation paper to make sure that you get the correct temperature and timing for your heat press. I'm using my Cricut Easy Press, and I set the temperature for 385 and the time to be 25 seconds. While the Easy Press is heating up, get everything ready to do the sublimation. You'll need something like an old towel to lay on the bottom side of your project. Then you'll need to put your material on top, and we're going to use that Easy Press to iron out those wrinkles before we start anything. It's also a good idea to lint roll your material that you're sublimating on to remove any lint or loose particles. When the Easy Press came to temperature, I held it down on the material for about 10 seconds and moved it around a little bit to iron out those wrinkles. Now that the wrinkles are out, you want that material to cool back down before you put your image on. Then the image goes ink side down onto the material, and you'll need a couple pieces of heat-resistant tape, which I use the Cricut brand, to hold it in place. You need something to act as a barrier between your project and your heat press, and I like to use the Dollar Tree parchment paper, but you could also use craft paper or butcher paper. And then put the heat press straight down on top, don't move it around, and hold it with medium pressure for the 25 seconds. Then lift the heat press straight back up and take a peek at what you have. I always try just to look at a little corner first, and if it looks good, then I take the whole thing off. If it doesn't look good, I put that little corner back down and do another few seconds. I'm always impressed with how these images turn out with the sublimation. This is a highly recommend thing to try if you can. The next step is to fray the edges. This is of course optional. You could hem your edges, but I like the rustic look of frayed edges. And the last step is to attach your material to your pillow. And I would recommend using fabric glue. I don't have any fabric glue, so I'm just using regular hot glue, but fabric glue would be probably the better way to go. And there you go, quick and easy fall pillow. Now let's take another look back at all the cottage style fall DIYs. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching my video. I hope you got some great ideas to try at your house this fall. And if you want to see more budget-friendly DIYs, just click the link I provided here, and I'll see you next time. Bye!